Yes, you. Who are you? Just kidding. It's a rhetorical question. I don't know you. Anyway, this is something I've wanted to do for a while now. Who are you? What are your likes and dislikes? What has made you into who you are today? These are questions that I tend to reflect on when it comes to the games I play, the shows that I watch, or hobbies that I have. Well, this is exactly what this series is going to be about. But you may be wondering, what exactly is this? Well, the long version is, as humans, we process tons of information from infancy to adulthood. A lot of what we are exposed to as children shapes us at our core and the many other branching areas of our persona. While a lot of what's impressed on us as children stems from parental guidance and association, whether for good or for bad, we are also influenced by the entertainment we take in. That in itself is something that fascinates me to an extreme degree. To think that a medium that never took place, whose content and events do not take up physical space in front of us, and whose characters are not living, breathing, real people, can have a very real effect on us. The power of fiction. Though, when you actually take time to think about this, it makes sense. Our brains take in everything we come across, with a surprising amount of that process being information that's absorbed subconsciously. These processes can be used the same way for everything, real or not. So making the observation that our brain can treat fiction as a form of association that has the potential to impress on us to some of the same degrees that a living, breathing human can, is an accurate thought. As kids, we are very impressionable, so a lot will have an effect on us. On the other hand, while growing into an adult, we start to have control over our cognitive functions and begin to choose what we want to expose ourselves to. But where does all of this lead me to today? I want to take an interest in analyzing the types of media I took in as a kid and reflecting on how it has shaped the different aspects of my character into who I am today, and how later on in life some things either stayed the same, took a turn to change, or intensified based off of my general growth and other properties that have caused me to learn more about myself. The short version, or the TLDR as the kids say, basically, this isn't going to be anything new in regards to reviews on specific content. People converse about the games they've played or shows they watch and express what effect it's had on them already. So this won't be much different for the viewer. The only way in which this will be different will be for me, because this is a personal passion project I've wanted to do for a long time. That, and it gives me an avenue to express my thoughts on paper and expressing them vocally, as well as a chance for tons of deeper reflection on what all of this content I've taken in over the years means to me in more detail. I'm already quite the thinker on a normal day and an overthinker on my worst days, so I'm already proficient in that area at the very least. And I thought it would be fun to put those thinking faculties towards something that could potentially produce a variety of different tones. The thing about me is that I'm constantly thinking of how I can improve as a person, and I am just constantly thinking in general. This fact in itself inspired me to use this way of thinking that I have and put it towards something like this. And as an added bonus, this project will help me in becoming better explaining topics with a better sense of flow and understanding to the individuals I speak to, or that is the hope at least. It's my weakness. I'm very bad at explaining things. So yeah, who are you? That is what I'm going to be calling this series of analysis. Original, I know. It was formerly going to revolve around two forms of media that I've been exposed to most of my life, and that's video games and anime. Guess which focus has become the former? Yeah, I have not a single clue about how to talk about anime on YouTube without seeing my fair use get flushed down the toilet. Besides that though, I can still execute talking about the other half of what I plan, that being the video games. Despite anime filling a large portion of my life, I still find so much to be passionate about with the things that have grown on me from video games as well. I want to dig deeper into those areas that I like so much about them, or even the ones that I'm not as passionate about, and to understand why others might like them even if I happen not to. The main focus is who are you or I in connection with the specific game or anime. And a bonus can be flipping the script onto the media itself. What is that specific game's identity? Who does it appeal to? There are some games I've played that I realize aren't really for me, so to reach out for a chance to make a connection of understanding with the intended audience, I will attempt to break it down. Again, this will not be considered in a traditional review style. That goes for the idea of reviews in itself and the order in which I will be doing all of this. I will be tackling each subject and how they were introduced into my life chronologically and in regards to the impact they had on my life. For example, Sonic. At a very early age, I played Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. However, I either did not play or have very little memory of playing Sonic 2. In this case, I would decide not to include Sonic 2, but since Sonic in general played a big part of my childhood, it shall be done. In most other circumstances, however, I won't look at games that I never played in succession with this counterpart to the series when I get to them. For example, Mega Man Battle Network 4 was my first Battle Network game, but I won't go back to the previous games at that point in the timeline, since I never played them at all until much later in my life, and because the previous games themselves have enough to differentiate a unique experience from the experience I had with the later games. However, when I'm done with this project entirely, and if I feel up to doing it, I'll look back at the other games of the past or present and analyze what they mean to me now in my current persona. These are most of the games I'll take a look at and where they place in my life. This won't include all of them, but here's a taste. Starting off with the blue blur Sonic, including Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic 3. As mentioned before, I didn't really play Sonic 2 much or if at all in my childhood. However, I still want to include it because Sonic as a whole was still an iconic part of my life. Hence, it will be included. The start of the dreadful space adventures in Metroid, which includes Metroid and Super Metroid. They both enter as horrifying subjects into this area of my life. Our shoot and jump man, Mega Man, starting with a few of the classics, Mega Man 1 through 8, and sometime later with our wonderful Edge boys, Mega Man X4 and Mega Man X5. Yeah, somehow we started with X4 and X5 on PS1, don't ask me. Fighting games, Street Fighter being the foundation for my introduction to the genre. I will probably include others that I also remember being introduced to early on, however, Street Fighter is what I first remember being introduced to. We come back around to Sonic. These being some of the ones I played in this area of my life: Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Sonic Heroes, the Sonic Advance games, Sonic Battle, Sonic Rush, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, Sonic Unleashed, the storybook games, Sonic Riders, and its sequel. Metroid came back to hit hard once again, and I played a lot more games this time around. Metroid Fusion, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime Hunters, Metroid Other M, and Metroid Zero Mission. We got the Mega Man series again, starting with Battle Network 4, 5, and 6, Mega Man Star Force 2 and 3, Mega Man Zero 1 through 4, ZX, and ZX Advent, and then revisiting X with X 1 through 3 and 6 through 8. I know, haphazard, yes, I know. Zelda. I knew about Zelda before, but this is where it starts in terms of my hand-on experience with the games. Some of those being A Link to the Past, Four Swords, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Four Swords Adventure, Minish Cap, and Phantom Hourglass. Our super icon Mario. Mario was well introduced early on in my life, but I'll have picked up from two games that truly impressed on me in my teenage years: Super Mario World and Mario Luigi Superstar Saga. A few outliers here with our boy Ratchet being thrown in an endless vortex of KO pits in the frenzy of deadlock, and our lovable puffball Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Then getting into Kingdom Hearts with 358/2, Chain of Memories, Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 2. Those were some of the ones that played a big part for me at this point in time. It slows down a lot from here. Finishing school and getting a job start taking up a lot more of my time. Also, I found myself not taking to too many new games. As you may have already noticed, some same series keep on making an appearance. You could say that a big part of that was because I didn't have much choice in games with the lack of money I had. Besides that, I just stuck to what I knew. And if I got the chance to get more games, the choices went to those things that I already knew. Starting off with Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, Metroid with Metroid Samus Returns, Mega Man with Mega Man 11, Zelda with the Triforce Heroes, A Link Between Worlds, and Breath of the Wild. those being the returning series while still providing a fresh feeling for me. Then, there being a few games that I hadn't played before this point in time, a unique surprise in Gravity Rush, Inti Creates finding another slot on my radar with Azure Striker Gunvolt, and a game that had me face myself with Persona 4. This isn't close to everything I've actually played. Some titles haven't had much of an impact on me at any point in time, while others I kept out for the sake of exercising a small amount of self-control, seeing as this list is already pretty long. Well, yeah, there's a lot to be had. I'm very excited to start this series, to remember how things were in the past and how it relates to me now. I may be obsessed with analysis, but this is just one facet of my many passions. We'll start with what took shape in some of my core interests in the beginning. Sonic is up first, surprise, surprise. I planned to go through the whole taking shape section first, and this would have been where I would have said I'd take a break from the video game taking shape section, then start the anime taking shape section, and then so on and so forth. However, it will just have to wait until I can figure out how to talk about anime on YouTube. For now though, we'll keep on with the plan for the games. Either way, I feel the way I'm going about the game order could be confusing as heck, but I'm going to have to hope all of this makes sense. If not, I mean, there's nothing that can be done. What do you want from me? Seriously though, the order in which all of this will play out may seem haphazard, and I understand it could come off as confusing for some, but this order is very much intended. As a side note, I just want to say beforehand, this project is for me and will obviously include my opinions. It's okay if we disagree, and to be honest, I could care less if we disagree. Oh wait, is that right? Rather, I don't care if we disagree. On the bright side, if we do disagree, that just leaves room for a discussion. So let's just do that. If you feel so inclined, let's just have a discussion. Disagreement on these kinds of topics is not the end of the world. Just remember to be respectful of others. Also, of course, I'll be mentioning what these things mean to me, but feel free to express who you are in relation to said topic. I find hearing what others have analyzed or just self-analysis in general to be fascinating and very healthy when done so with balance. Not saying that everything needs to be taken that seriously, but regardless of if the topic is silly or not, analyzing and coming to an understanding of myself and others is cool to me. And you know, the reason why I've emphasized analysis is because it's nice to see someone say why they like something in a format other than the words just because or I don't know. The way I think may seem exhausting, but I tend to ask, I like X because of Y, but why do I like X because of Y? What has shaped me into liking X because of Y? Of course, not all things will have an equal amount of substance as to why we enjoy them. For example, the reason I adore the color purple as compared to the reason I love to draw. I have so much more to say about why I like to draw than why the color purple is the greatest color known to human man. There's so much more to us than just becauses and I don't knows and yeah, I think that's how it's said. Anyway, you get the point. But yeah, this is how it starts. This has been the Squeaker Nerd. Keep on nerding, everybody. And most of all, take care of yourself and each other. Until next time.